I don't find like what's the kind of comedy Three Stooges like physical, yeah, slapstick. I don't find that funny to me. I just
yeah.
I don't know why. It's just not funny to me. Do you like prop comics? Carrot Top, he's prop comic.
No.
Yeah.
Never cared for prop comics. Never cared for puppets.
I don't like Jeff Dunham.
Yeah, that's the guy.
I don't.
It's not puppets. What are they called?
Ventriloquist.
Ventriloquists.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grouped those two together.
Yeah.
What I do like, and I don't think it counts as prop comedy, but I do like visual comedy.
Okay.
Which is why I like movies like I've got Mel Brooks, Naked Gun, Hot Shots on here.
Yeah.
Those kind of things where you have to pay attention because they're doing stuff on screen that might be different than what they're saying.
I remember Naked.
What are the two TV shows? There's NTSF SD SUV, which is a great title of a comedy show. It was like National Terror Strike Force or something. Terrorism Strike Force San Diego SUV. And then the one John turned me on to, which is similar, very similar to it, just on a different channel, is Angie Tribeca on TBS. Both are very much like the Naked Gun, Hot Shots kind of visual stuff. So.
Yeah, I just remember in Naked Gun, the guy in the background had a newspaper and was like, "Dyslexia for cure found." It's just like, all right.
Yep. I like that.
There is a type of comedy that Norm Macdonald is that he mostly does. It's called see if I can pronounce it right. Feghoots. You've heard it before. You don't. I haven't ever heard that term, but I've heard the type of comedy. It's a comedy where there's like this just longer story, and the punchline is like
so
a
small.
pun of a normal saying. Like it'll be something like. This moth,
and that's why you can't, and that's why there's more than one way to skin a cat or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Like the moth goes to a podiatrist, tells him, "I can't stand my wife. My kids are killing me. I'm so stressed out. I just want to kill myself." And the podiatrist is like, "Well, you should really go see a psychologist instead of me. Why are you seeing a podiatrist?" "Well, the light was on."
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I like Norm Macdonald.
Yeah,
I used to find him one of the funnier cast members when he was on SNL.
He's awesome.
But he's along with that dry or dark humor thing too for me. So I very much like British humor for that.
Oh, okay.
So like the original Office with Ricky Gervais.
I could not get into that.
I thought that was hilarious. I definitely liked how Steve Carell kept its influence when he brought it over.
Yeah.
To the U.S. I love Monty Python, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I consider it smart, but a lot of people probably don't. But anything that kind of makes you think, like Monty Python humor, kind of makes you think. I know it's very goofball too, but just stuff like that where it's like you have to know who a scientist is to get the joke or something like that.
Right.
That's kind of funny to me. So.
Awesome. I like parody, like spoof, like In Living Color was parody. I remember the funniest In Living Color episode was right after Home Alone came out. They redid Home Alone, but the burglar was Michael Jackson, and this was at the time where we were finding out he liked little kids or whatever.
Boy.
He'd get his hair on fire and be like, "Ow!" and just be spinning around dancing. That's my kind of humor.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like some of them are really stupid, but along that same line of spoof is the make fun of a movie type movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
One example of this, and it qualifies as gross out, but Not Another Teen Movie.
Yep.
Is one. Scary Movie, things like that.
Yeah.
I saw one that was actually called, I haven't seen it, but I saw the title of it. It was Not Another Movie.
Yes.
So that's kind of funny to me. What's his name from Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Andy Samberg was in a movie last summer, Pop Star or something.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And it was Don't Stop, Never Stopping or something like that. Or Never Stop, Don't Stop
Never Stopping or
Yeah,
something.
something like that was the subtitle of it. I haven't seen it yet, but I like that. Dodgeball was a great movie.
Dodgeball was funny.
I liked that. The serious kind of sporty spoof movies.
Yeah.
That can get into like Talladega Nights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the other ones like Blades of Glory and Balls of Fury.
Yeah.
And there was one that I watched. It was called Blackballed. It was I can't remember who it was starring, but it was a story about somebody who had been banned from the sport of paintball for wiping, and it's the story of his comeback to the sport. It had Rob Riggle in it, but I can't remember the main actor's name. But it was his comeback to the sport after 10 years, and it was like the return of the Michael Jordan of paintball, because he was supposed to be like the greatest living paintball legend ever, but he got accused of wiping a paint smear off of his leg during a game and got banned for 10 years. So I find that stuff hilarious too.
Yeah.
Some fake sports stories are even better than real sports stories for me.
That reminded me, in when you said paying attention to certain things in certain movies like Dodgeball, like at the end, they had, you remember the pirate came out with the money, but what was written on the treasure chest was Deus Ex Machina, which is in Greek mythology, a gift from the gods that resolves everything. And just like all of a sudden this treasure chest of money appears and it solves everybody's
problems. Solves all the problems. Wraps up the plot nicely.
It's like, how? Oh, okay.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The last one I've got, this is my favorite type of stand-up. These are the kind of comedians I can watch. Are self-effacing comedians, the ones that make fun of themselves. Self-deprecating humor. Make fun of themselves more than anything else.
Yeah.
Louis C.K.
Mike Birbiglia.
I've got Mike Birbiglia. John Mulaney has some great stand-up. There was a guy, John Panette. He died a couple years ago, but he was really good also.
Yeah, he just embraced his weight and struggled to try to
named his stand-up I'm Starving.
I'm starving. Yeah.
That was great. And then the show that you watch on TBS that we've already talked about a little bit.
TBS?
Dude.
Which?
The Hot Pockets guy.
Oh, Jim Carrey.
Jim Gaffigan.
No, not Jim Carrey. Oh my gosh.
Jim
Gaffigan, and it's TV Land.
Oh, okay. Same thing.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of self-deprecating, make fun of themselves kind of comedians that I really like. So
yeah, Mike Birbiglia's one of his secrets for comedy, he said, you need to start writing from a place where you feel uncomfortable, and that opens the gateway.
And he definitely makes me
definitely
feel
does that. Yeah.
Yep, I like his.
I love Mike Birbiglia.
The last comedian I have. Do you have more to go?
I have a couple more, but go ahead.
The last comedian I've got that I like, and I don't like his stand-up. His stand-up falls in kind of like the Dane Cook, curse and sex kind of stand-up, but I really like Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, I like him.
Not his stand-up as much, but he did a podcast episode with Freakonomics back in the spring.
That one.
That was really good. He wrote a book called Modern Romance. It's Aziz Ansari when he's not being up on stage and trying to attract attention, but when he's playing something subtle, like playing in Parks and Rec, or his TV show, not Modern Romance,
Master of None.
Master of None.
Yeah.
It's that kind of, when you see the sweeter side of him, like the behind the scenes, this is who I feel he really wants to be kind of thing.
Yeah.
That I really like about him. So it makes his stand-up a little bit more bearable, but I wouldn't go see his stand-up. I'd watch Master of None 50 times in a row.
I rewatched that last week.
Yeah.
It's
so good.
His girlfriend and him have such good chemistry in that show. It's awesome.
Yep.
What reminded me of that part of that show was, remember when Claire Danes was trying to have an affair with him? It was, so they started like kissing in her apartment, and he was like, "Hey, who's that guy?" And she's like, "Oh, that's my brother." And he was like, "Hey, that other picture looks like you're marrying your brother." And then she was like, "Okay, I'm married." He's like, "Oh, F." Yeah. Have you ever listened to Mitch Hedberg? He passed away, but he was the king of like deadpan and like non sequiturs and just
Trying to think of what he's done. I have heard him. I've got Max Headroom stuck in my head though.
he never had any specials out.
Okay.
He just 3 CDs, but yeah, he's really good. Like he'll say stuff like, if your friend was a tightrope walker and you guys were walking on the sidewalk and he fell, that would be completely unacceptable. Stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah. And Stephen Wright, he was like one of the original deadpan guys, and he's more like wit wordplay. Like he's like, my friend is on the Ouija board of directors, like stuff like that. Yeah, and I thought the Drew Carey show was very funny.
I loved the Drew Carey show.
I don't think they ever put it out on DVD though.
No, I don't think so.
It's just like, darn it.
That was great.
Yeah, Janie met him once. She was going to some band thing, and he was like coming off of a plane or something. She said he was like not very nice, but it was 1 second, so I don't know how really what was going on in his mind, but
that's the one exception I have to prop comedy that you just reminded me of is Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
When he was hosting Whose Line, and they'd have... I loved everything that they did on Whose Line for one thing, but when they had the props and they had to make up stuff with it, that was pretty funny. I'll give exception to that.
The improv.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'd like make up Irish drinking songs or, narrate a scene from a movie or something like that. So that was good stuff. Whose Line was a great show.
Yeah.
I guess it's still on. It's on CW now.
Oh, really?
Still has a lot of the same cast I've seen. It's got Colin Mockery and Ryan Stiles and Wayne Brady still on, but it's got a different host. So I think you can see it for free on the CW app.
Oh,
you just have to download the CW Seed, which is a different app that they have.
Oh,
so.
Well, too many steps already. I'm not going to do it. I'm not.
But Drew Carey was a great part of that show.
Yeah.
So.
I'll just tell a moment in one of the best Drew Carey moments was somehow there was all these rabid dogs outside of Drew's house, and Oswald had his phone. He was like, "Oh, I'll just call the police or 911 to get out of here." Darn, I don't know my password. Well, I might as well just start trying to guess it. 1111. Nope. 1112. Nope. And Drew is like, "Give me that," and throws it out the window. And he's like, "Oh, it was 1114." Such a good show. Yeah, and do you like observational comedy?
I do, but I feel like that's basically all comedy nowadays.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with these? Whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was great when Seinfeld started doing it, but now it's basically everybody doing it. So I was standing in line at the DMV the other day.
Yeah.
What's the deal with lines?
Yeah. Who closes the door on a bus when everybody gets off?
Yep.
But yeah, comedy's good. It's a good break from, whatever's going on in life. That's what Jim Carrey said that was his purpose. His purpose was to free people from concern for an hour or two. And yeah,
cool.
I actually tried 5 minutes of stand up at College Park.
Oh yeah,
it was the best 5 minutes of my life
and the worst.
It was so excruciating because everything builds off everything. Like, you say one joke, no laughs. You're like, oh crap, this is going downhill fast.
Yeah. Stand-up comedians need tons of thick skin.
Yes.
And tons of gigs.
Yeah.
Because anytime you see somebody with a Netflix special, they've told that joke probably like
1,000 times.
Times to get it to that point where it's actually funny.
Yeah, and probably in the stupidest bars, the crappiest comedy clubs.
And they see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And what gets the right kind of response and stuff like that. So
I listened to Norm Macdonald talk about a time he did stand up, and the manager was like, "That's great. That was so funny." And then he did this exact same show, you know, at the 8 o'clock hour, and the manager and it bombed, and the manager's like, "Why did you change it?" And it was the same thing, and Norm was like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have changed it." And then I'll make it the same next time. And then like, at the 10 p.m. show, he killed. He's like, "See, I told you shouldn't have changed it."
nice.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's good. I wish I could be a stand-up comedian, but I don't respect it enough to put the hard work into it. You know,
it takes a.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah, and Chris Hardwick says if you bomb and you don't get back up again and keep doing it, then you're not a real comedian.
Yep.
So
I got one more
sure.
on my list. This goes against everything that I've said I don't like. But I have a special place in my heart for Kevin Smith movies.
Kevin Smith?
Oh, Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
So Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, those are his good ones. But he also did Dogma, which I find hilarious.
I love Dogma.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which I think I was the right age at the right time for that movie.
Yeah.
But I like his comedy. It's can be gross out. It's definitely a bunch of dick and fart jokes.
Yeah.
Pot humor, stuff like that. But he's got visual gags. He's got some smart stuff in there. Some of his shows, like Chasing Amy, gets like the tender side or the softer side.
Yeah.
So I like that stuff. For some reason, he'll always be the exception for me.
Because it's nostalgia.
I don't like Dane Cook, but I like Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. So I'm not consistent, guys. You should know that by now.
That's okay. It's just certain comedians you like and some you don't. And yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. We'll wrap this one up. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at CP_EH, and I also write at BarrettYoung.com.
And I'm on Twitter at Charchangs. And don't forget to support the show, patreon.com/HadokenDebt.
See ya.
Later.
Hadoken!